Okay, Johnny, the the last party. I just want to go back to something you told me. You said that you started from betting as a kid, as we mentioned already. One figure bets to six figure bets in your pomp. I mean, what sort of six figure bets are we talking about, and at what sort of meetings?
It would have been like as a bookie, like laying horses for that kind of money. Do you know what I mean? I never had a six-figure bet myself on a particular horse, but I was willing to stand horses for that kind of money every now and then to a guy. I had one tremendous punter one time, really really good punter, big punter, and if I rarely ever refused him a bet. You know what I mean? I don't think I ever refused him a bet, to be honest. And but he'd come every now and then. They needn't be big meetings either. These could be ordinary meetings. He could turn up at an ordinary meeting, and I'd let him on. I'd chance him. You know what I mean? But he was a regular better. Now, overall, I'd say there wasn't a lot in it between me and him in the end. But he was handy for you go to a meeting and he'd give you bets and he'd get you going in the race. If you know what I'm saying? Like he'd make you drive into a race, into a handicap or something like that. You'd finish up holding five times as much because he gave you a kickstart, that kind of a thing. But I remember one day I'll just give one example of one thing he did with me was there was a race in Punchestown one year, and he had I fancied Max Joy in the race. He was a 7-4 shot, and he had 40 grand and we had 7-4, which was a big bet for him. Now, normally he wouldn't bet as big as that, but I had to have that 40 on because I fancied it, and I think I had about 16 on it myself at the time, and but he also had 2.5 grand each way to rag in the race at 33-1, and that won. So I lost my 16. I had to pay his 40, and I finished up doing 115 in the race. You know what I mean? Which was I think was my worst ever race. Now, really, I think that was I think that was the worst rate. But on top of that, though, Simon, it was a screaming result as well. It was the best result of the meeting by a mile. Like it was the rag in an 8 horse race. Yokes beat out each way and everything, and it was absolute screamer. Every bookie got a fortune in the race. I was the only one that couldn't breathe up there. But look, that's the way the game went. And I often like I played him. I played him. I was one other. I'll just tell the story. I played him one night. He was betting on the phone with me, and he backed this horse in Leopardstown in the last race. It was 9 o'clock. I think he was losing 16 grand. He 2 grand each way in this yoke anyway. And it was a race that you couldn't have a bet in this thing anyway. But he'd a stab off it anyway. So it's beat anyway. So I'm saying lovely. That's a lovely night for me anyway. And so I'm down anyway. I goes down to the bedroom to the missus, and she says, "Well, we watch something on Netflix?" And I'm saying, "Yeah, oh yeah, okay, love, watch away there, whatever you like, whatever you like, all this old stuff." And yeah, so she puts on, and would we watch? Oh, I says, "No problem, whatever you watch, whatever you want, whatever you like." So next thing, I get a text, 2.5 grand each way. This yoke in the 9:20 in Chepstow. I didn't think Chepstow was even on. So next thing anyway, I run up the stairs. I won't have to tell you what happened anyway. Won at about 11-1 anyway. So I come back down to the room anyway, distraught. And she says to me, "What do you want to watch?" I said, "I couldn't give a what we watch." I said, "I'm going to sleep. Watch whatever you like."
You had
but,
a punter like.
but
Sorry, carry
which
on. No, sorry,
no,
carry
but
on.
that's a, yeah, but no, I did play big for a period. You know what I mean? Big for a period, but I don't play as big as that anymore. I couldn't afford to anyway because you couldn't take the bad runs anyway. I couldn't take the bad runs anymore. And on top of that, I wouldn't be as sure of winning nowadays as I probably thought I was that time. You know, that kind of way.
So, but why would that be?
Look, I suppose the fact that people know more than I do in a lot of instances. Um, the fact that you can't get the real proper prices, you know what I mean? Um, I suppose like everything now. There's a commission. There's a commission and the bets with the like. It's for me to back. I can back horses on 164, say 1.64, paying commission. like of 2%. If you said I'd have done that 15 years ago, they laughed at you. Like, I mean, every bet we had at 4 to 6 was like, you bet a fellow at the races. There was no commission. So you start adding up all those commissions, and at the end of the year, it comes to a lot of money at the same time, you know. So that's another little thing that's impinging on your profit. Look, I suppose you're getting older. Fellas are coming up, like it's a bit like the Wild West. There's always someone coming up that's a faster gun than you. You know what I mean? So you've got to take all those things into consideration and realize the big thing in this game is, I think anyway, one of the biggest things is you've got to realize your limitations, and you've got to realize your pecking order, where you are in the pecking order. You know what I mean? Of how of in the information chain as such, and how important or unimportant you are to certain people. And if you're not bringing anything to the table, then you don't, fellas will can render you like ineffective as such. They probably won't deal with you if you're not coming up with stuff that's of any use. Nobody's going to share stuff with people that are taking all the time. You've got to be able to give as well. So look, it's a combination of loads of things. I mean, nothing lasts forever anyway, Simon, as you know, and you can't expect to, like, nobody owes me a living, no bookie owes me a living or whatever. So I'm living basically on my wits as such. And if you can't make it pay, well, that's tough to manage. But look, as I said, this year has been good for me so far. If it keeps up, I'll be very, very happy with it at the end of the year. But sometimes you can, I've taught that before, and then you stand still for 4 months and you don't make any money or even lose. So it's not an exact science, this game. But look, I still think I can win, but I wouldn't be as confident as I once was. I'll put it that way. And like I would say, in the good times, if there's 52 weeks in the year, I'd lose about 4. But now I'd say I could lose 30. You know, 25 or 6 anyway. I could lose every second week nowadays.
Yeah.
Whereas one time, like, if you lost, was a rarity, you know. And if you did lose, you'd get it back next week anyway. It didn't really matter.
If the network that we've talked about suddenly said, "Oh, Johnny's gone at the game, let's
Yeah,
cut him out with the WhatsApp groups or whatever,"
yeah.
do you be confident that you could plow on and still make money just backing your own picks, or would you turn it in?
I wouldn't be confident at all. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, I mean, my own picks would be okay up to a point, but you need help at the same time. Everyone needs help. You know what I mean? And any fellas that think they don't are delusional or deluded or whatever the word is. No, I mean, I think if you, I'm already struggling, like, nowadays in comparison to what it would have been one time. And if you take an extra bow from my arrow, like, I'd be struggling even more. So I'm only barely hanging in as it is. Really, maybe able to make a living. So if you were going on your own bat now, like, the one good thing for me from this game is from a family point of view is that my kids have no interest in it. None whatsoever. They wouldn't even look at a race. So even though it was on the telly, they would walk past it. And I wouldn't want them to have, because if they were starting from scratch, no, I couldn't see how they could possibly make money nowadays. You know what I mean? I think the little bit of experience and knowledge and context that I have are about the only things that probably protect me from actually losing on a constant basis.
Now, you mentioned your family a few times, and obviously you've been bringing them up during all this time we've talked about. How you obviously your wife's had to have confidence that you're not going to go skint and come home and say we've lost the house or anything.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that always, was there a lot of support in the background? Well, I imagine it's very important.
Yeah, look, my missus is like, we're married a lot, 20, almost 20, whatever. Look, she never asked me any questions about anything. There is an element of I suppose, look, like a lot of women, they think it grows in the trees. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, she, like, I don't ever bring back bad luck stories anyway. There would be 1 or 2 days in the whole year where I have an absolute stinker, do everything wrong, and I might come home and say, look, I'm having no dinner and going straight to bed. And she'd understand that's no problem at all. But you wake up in the morning, it's like the previous day never happened. But look, we get on grand, and she it's never come to the point where we've been in trouble or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, and I was lucky enough to put away a few little things for the future when I was able to make it pay properly. So only for that, I wouldn't have survived this business. So I think a big thing to any punter in any kind of a an environment is that when you're winning, you take your chips off the table, just remove them from the table and put them into something that you can't get at. And I think that's very, very valuable advice anyway to anyone that thinks they can make money at this game. That if you get a stack of chips, take them off, buy something with it, whether it is an apartment or a house or something like that, and something that you get an income from, and something that you won't under any circumstances, unless the real who is hitting the fan, you won't get rid of. You know what I mean? So you'll always have something to show for it. Managing debt is a big thing in it too. That one thing that stood to me is I never had debt. I never, and if I couldn't afford a car, I didn't buy it. You know what I mean? And if we couldn't afford a house, we didn't buy it. That was basically it. I never got involved in owing anybody, and that's the thing that has helped me over the years. That I never got involved with that there was people come along and knocking at the door and say you owe me, and I want my money. That never happened to me, thankfully. Thanks be to God that I could stave that kind of stuff off anyway. You know.
Just finally, John, there's in 1989 there was a documentary on Barney Curley, which I had on VHS. It was all fuzzy, but I watched it over and over and over, and I was absolutely enthralled by it. At the very end, they asked him about gambling, and he says, "You can't make money gambling; it's impossible." That was 1989. You've just said the same thing, and there's going to be young lads that are watching this, and they're going to think, "Yes, I can." But they're going to try anyway. So, what would your advice be to somebody now that wants to be the next Barney Curley, the next Johnny Dineen, who's in there, the age you were when you started out? Would you tell them they definitely can, or what would your advice be?
Well, I suppose, Simon, the strike rate is probably something similar to being a professional soccer player or something like that. You know what I mean? It is so difficult to manage the longevity of gambling. Like, there's no finish line in this game either, is there? Like, you know what I mean? So, look, I'd hate from my own kids to get involved in this game now, because it really is a cutthroat business, and you need to have a special psyche for it, I think, more than anything else. It probably can be done, and people can do stuff with the internet now that like I'm a dinosaur now as regards betting. I don't know anything about this, but it probably can be done. But I suppose I would say, if you can stick to, like, I stick to horses. 99.9% of the bets I have are horses. A lot of the stuff I see other people be betting horses and dogs and sport and soccer and all kinds of different sport, rugby and everything. I don't think you can be a master of all these kind of trades. You know what I mean? I think you should probably stick to one thing only if you're good at it, and if you can make it pay. Like, my advice to a fellow, like, I think you'd be safer saying to someone, "Don't do it," because you'll be right 99 times out of 100. I think that the casualty rate will be too high, that you won't be you won't be wrong in putting the fella off it. It probably still can be done, but by means of the internet, but it's so much more difficult now than it used to be. And who, like, you've got to ask you one question: who are you going to win the money off? Who's going to allow you win money nowadays? Like, bookies aren't going to allow you win money online, are they? Like, a bookie at the races isn't going to allow you win on a constant basis. Uh, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can get on to these places like Malaysia or Asia. Those things are foreign to me. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. But maybe there are avenues down there where people can get on for a while. Look, like, for every winner anyway, there has to be a loser. And like, if a fella lands a decent touch somewhere, it has to land in somebody's lap. So that guy is not going to be happy. And he's not going to keep getting mullered over and over again. That's my reading of it anyway. Look, maybe it can be done, Simon, but the odds are against you.
Brilliant. Well, on that note, Johnny Dineen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. Thanks for asking me.